Oops. I call the January meeting of the Belleville Area District Library Board to order, and our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This is a special day for the Belleville Area District Library Board. And we will begin with a special event for the community, and that is swearing in of our newly elected members. We have 3 members of this board who were elected in October of 2024. 2 of them are incumbents who have served before, and 1 who is joining us, Maria, who is newly elected in this community. So that event is been long awaited. This is unusual that we are delayed here, but we on the board want you to know how much we care about this issue. So the first item of business is the swearing in of newly elected members.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Why are you pointing at me?
I'm just following you.
You're not following me. The new members are gonna come up to the flag, whether you want me to do them 3 together or 1 at a time. It's up to you.
Your Honor,
It's up to you completely. Your board.
Together.
You want them
all
together?
3 together.
Rosemary said all together.
We're all wearing the same color.
Oh, yeah, we got to right.
And the judges.
Oh, the memo was sent out.
If you're gonna take it from there, Rosemary, I'll come on the other side. So you can, so you can see them, is what I'm saying. You don't need to see me. She saw me last night. She said. Would you raise your right hands, please, and repeat after me? I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear
That I will uphold the Constitution of the United States.
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of this state.
and the Constitution of this state,
And that I will faithfully discharge my duties.
and that I will faithfully discharge my duties
As a member of the Belleville Area District Library Board.
as a member of the Belleville Area District Library Board,
According to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations. And then small present from the court. The cities we serve on one side and the outline of the court on the other side. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you.
So now I can move to.
Yes. Take your rightful place.
I know. You.
Congratulations.
Oh, no. Trip over.
We have such
All right.
energy.
My family's silent.
Thank you, Judge Mark.
We have to get the 4-year-old to get.
Thank you. Thank you, the Martin family.
You can stay.
Welcome anytime.
Everybody getting out of here.
I can bring it later if you need help.
See you guys.
All right, take
Bye.
care.
Oh,
Good job.
Oh. Maria's family, it was just a delight.
Thank you.
A delight. Welcome to the board and welcome to your first trip over here. And now we will go with the roll call, and at this point, we are operating under our board from 2024. So we'll have the roll call called by Alma Hughes Grubbs, our secretary.
Javits,
Here.
Fleming,
Here.
Jackson Smith. Here. Peters,
Here.
Priest,
Here.
Stottlemyre.
Here.
Hughes Grubbs, present.
All members being present, we are for once and for all operating today. I'll just, when we talk about our technical holdup today, this is John Jariga's, just happens to be John Jariga's first board member he's not present at, but we'll go ahead, and we are joined by Maria, who has been so helpful to us already. The selection of the 2025 board members actually has to be presided over. Mary Jo, do I have to turn the gavel over to somebody else technically?
I think you can just ask if there are any motions from the floor.
Well, yes, Madam Chair, I
Yeah.
would like to make a motion now that we have our new members sworn in, that we assign committee members and have some conversation as to the committee members and their new responsibilities.
Do you mean board officers?
Board officers, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you moving a slate of board officers?
I-
Would you like to?
I would like to move the slate, yes.
And the slate being,
Well, the slate being Alma, Joy, and our new member, Maria.
is there a second to that?
I don't think he's talking about board members.
I don't think so.
The
either.
board
He's
officers.
Oh, well, I'm,
board.
He's welcoming all our members,
yes.
and he is
So-
functioning, yeah.
So I'm asking for, our new chair, our vice chair, our secretary, and our treasurer, so we are
To be
assigning,
reelected.
yes, to be reelected.
Okay.
So that would be Sharon Peters as chair. Linda Priest as vice
Vice
chair,
chair.
Alma Hughes Grubbs as secretary, and Tanya Stottlemyre as treasurer.
The discussion?
And who seconded?
I will second that.
Yeah,
I don't think
there
so.
you go.
Okay.
You're doing the treasure.
Who's doing the secretary?
Yeah.
Alma wanted to
Yeah.
do it.
But you doing them.
That's for reelection of last
Re-election,
year's
okay.
board.
Okay, just make sure you were okay.
I'll second those nominations.
Been moved and seconded, a slate, to, be reelected. And it's been supported, so all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those, opposed by saying no. There are no dissenting votes. The, board will continue with the officers that were in place in 2024. And I appreciate working with the team that I work with, which is all of you. Now we just need to approve the agenda for today, which you all have before you.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second.
I'll
Okay. Moved by Priest, supported by Chehevitz. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed by saying no? The ayes have it unanimously. And our agenda is approved and we are at the point of approval of the meeting minutes from December. Item 6.
Madam Chair, I motion that we approve the December 10th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
I'll second that motion.
Moved by Stoudemire and supported by Priest. We will approve the minutes as distributed. We're at time for public comment. And we welcome comment, and we also thank you and all friends of Maria for coming this evening and for staying with us and for our technical difficulty. Do you wish to speak? Thank you for being with us, no matter what, and come back anytime. Any other member of the public wish to speak?
No, thank you.
Well, it's good to have you with us again in this cold night. Then on to from public comments, we probably have we have our most pieces of paper that has to do with agenda item. But also, I think we're in, well, we've discussed it anyway. And that is item 8. It has to do with penal fine, the settlement of the problem of the Library of brought by the problem of the Library of Michigan and the Treasury Department, Wayne County Treasury Department. And that's what this agenda item is about. I'd like to call on Director Suchi to fill us in. I attended a meeting with her, but I asked her to report on it.
The Romulus Library invited the directors and the interested parties of the libraries that are owing money to attend the meeting, which we did last week. I went with Sharon because we kind of have a similar problem, and so we discussed everything.
We being all the libraries.
Meaning the libraries that owe money. Consensus seemed to be that working towards this, well, first of all, working towards a settlement does not mean that we are committing to a settlement, we're just negotiating. Also, consensus was that a caveat for agreeing to participate in those negotiations would be to require Wayne County conduct an audit. Independent audit of those penal fines and share the results with the libraries and with the Library of Michigan at their expense. That should be a condition of coming together to negotiate some type of settlement. We want to just make sure the numbers are correct first.
Thank you. That goes along with what I felt and experienced going to the meeting. But we decided we all wanted to allow the board more access to all the information that we've had and which is attached back here, the background information.
So, basically gave you everything in your board deck that the Library of Michigan gave to me, to the libraries. So I apologize for how much there is. It's kind of hard to get some of those spreadsheets on one piece of paper. Basically, they are talking about the problem, how it happened, and what their recommendation is for solving the problem. Their opening recommendation is to look at the last 10 years, and for libraries that owe money to pay over a period of time, any of their future penal fine revenue would go towards, taking care of the issue. So this just goes, it shows all of, like, you know, who owes money, who is owed money. It goes through year by year and shows, you know, basically what happened every year. It shows, moving forward, how long it would take, how long they're estimating it would take for somebody to get paid off.
That would be different for different
It's
libraries.
different for different libraries. Yeah.
Did you say
Oh.
that future penal fines,
Would be-
we were one of the libraries that were overpaid,
Yes,
and you're saying the future penal fines would go towards the payment.
rectifying it, yeah.
Yeah,
That is what
right.
their proposal is.
Whatever we got would be diminished by them taking out
Mhm.
Is
the
there a
proportion of
time
payment.
frame that we project that would be?
Ours would be paid off in about 4 years. Or we could choose to just pay it all in advance in one, you know, payment if we chose to go that route.
Are they're not adding interest?
They are not proposing interest.
We're not even, you know, they're not. They've not entered into anything. yet.
Yeah, this is just their initial proposal for the library of Michigan. There was talk at the meeting we went to at Romulus about, I believe the statute of limitations, I believe the number they used was 6 years, so they, you know, there might be some,
Whether they were
whether it's 10
going
years or 6 years.
or
so that could
6
change
years.
things.
And there's financial implications to all these details because it all comes together. So it's not a problem that they suggested that board members even think about solution for, but we just want all board members to understand on all the boards for the libraries in the whole Wayne County system.
And was there any discussion about Wayne County
The,
having any responsibility financially?
yes, indeed there was, which I brought to the podium, just that it had already been brought to the podium by the Plymouth Library Director. That libraries in Wayne County and in the state are congenial and collegial organizations. And libraries want to see this problem solved in a fair way, so, you know, in a truthful way. So the question is just to allow some discussion, further discussion on that we're not committed to, but that this can, the way to satisfy this issue, my point was, and it still is, it should be shared fiscally by Wayne County. None of the libraries in this whole system are responsible for this problem. And it's, the county has to settle with us in some ways. This is a lot of paper to digest. I know you've had it a few days, but I know you've also had the rest of life for a few days. But what we're being asked to do is maybe that we want to hold on to these figures to look at. But what we're being asked to do, we want to get, we want to get, and actually, Tanya, I don't know how, if you've ever had, have you had a chance to look at this issue at all? Were you aware of this issue?
I was not, and we really haven't had any discussions with it, you know, with the Detroit Public Library either, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
you have not heard it come up. Our sense is that the Detroit Public Library may not be participating in this.
We don't know anything yet. about
We
that.
don't know. So I'm not, I just know there are in other ways, Detroit is separate from, so I'm not sure if they're in this, but. Yeah,
Well, why the disparity between certain libraries and not others?
It had to
So
do with the courts, the individual courts that were collecting the traffic ticket money, the penal fines and traffic ticket money.
Okay.
So for example, and I could be explaining this incorrectly, but it's my understanding that, the communities where there is a circuit court and they're taking in a lot of revenue, that money was getting dispersed to the communities served by that court rather than going into one big pot for all of Wayne County and then
Okay.
being divvied up by per capita, per person.
Oh, okay.
So that's why there are discrepancies.
It makes a big difference and it makes for winners and losers.
Yeah.
It is,
Oh, wait, yeah, and Detroit Public, that's
yeah,
a big one.
we
Yeah.
don't,
Right.
you know, to
Romulus
have.
looks like a big loser.
To
Mm.
have people in the entire room celebrate this issue and to
Wow.
perhaps think about the system that serves kids that may have no other access. The Detroit Public Library is very important.
Romulus is not a wealthy
No.
library.
No.
to lose
Really?
that much funds,
Right,
yeah.
so there are other
Another way to look
communities.
at it, this is, we all serve each other's patrons too, so it's kind of like it's money from libraries going to libraries, so it's.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So what was the abiding thought at the meeting that we went to was that the libraries that owe money need to hear out and sit at the table with and formulate the solution with the state of the Library of Michigan, right? And is the county represented in the decision?
that is the plan that they will be part of the negotiations.
Right, that I understood that they were addressing that issue.
What is the time frame for this?
There is no time frame to come to a resolution. The Library of Michigan does want a commitment from individual libraries by the end of January, whether we want to participate in negotiations or not.
Just whether we want to participate in negotiations.
But we don't know how long this whole thing is going to be.
No,
And the negotiations are with the county. Or with
With
each other,
you
yeah.
know, but.
But they appointed like people that are going to be handling this, it's not okay. Maybe.
Well,
The
this is all
Library of
in the
Michigan was
stages.
what's,
Yeah, but
yeah.
the Library of Michigan is looking to.
so they're organized
So
through the
organize it,
boards
yeah.
of each of the member
And
libraries.
I'm assuming at some
Yeah.
point they will call for, representatives from each library, I'm not sure what that will look like, but. But at any rate, the consensus opinion of the libraries that owe money is that. A resolution to commit to negotiating should also include. The caveat that the county has to pay for an independent audit.
So what do you think the future of our responsibility will be? And we can.
Oh, there is a number that we were quoted. We did discuss this before, and there is a number that
I
we,
mean, our board responsibility is. my
our
point.
district,
Our board. What
and
will we have to do as a board? Is that in our future having to?
And well, in the
that's-
future,
that's-
if a settlement is negotiated, then it would be up to this board to say yes or no.
So along the way, you'll keep us.
Oh,
informed.
absolutely,
Okay,
yes.
that's.
And she
Because it
has,
seems massive to try to understand it at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the part that bothers me is that. We pay it off, but can it be assured that this will not happen again? There
That's a
can
good
be no
question.
guarantees.
Mhm.
That's.
there was a question raised on that from another library.
Sure.
Yeah,
Excuse me,
sure.
Elma, did I cut you off?
No.
Oh, good. I'm
So
just
there has to
glad
be
see
some
you.
kind of. Something put in place
Mhm.
to not have this. happen.
Right, and I'm sure that will probably be.
So
part
I
of
mean,
the-
if they could
the
say that.
settlement. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the
Just to
county
cover
does need
themselves.
to. Needs to be some kind of agreement with the county that they have the responsibility, this is their responsibility. And that. Future
Mhm.
mistakes are
Sure.
not our.
Yeah,
problem.
that the
They have
library
to
system
make
at
it
whole
right.
isn't, yeah.
Then they're gonna take it seriously.
Well, and
Mhm.
to that point, the only thing we're really agreeing to tonight is a plan to require
Right.
an audit, an independent audit, but require the county to pay for that.
Mhm.
And that as a predicate on moving forward, because there were libraries who were represented by several who felt that what they were assessed was not accurate.
So they don't think these numbers are
They,
correct.
there
So we-
were,
Yeah, we want to make sure that everything's.
Yeah.
correct.
right,
Yeah.
and there were more that, there were several libraries that questioned
And this
that
was a meeting
process.
just of the libraries that owe money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
Mhm.
right,
So that's a good first step.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think so. I think it was. yeah.
right.
So you're
From assurance.
suggesting that we move for that.
I think we probably should, yeah. Okay.
And so do I.
I make a motion to participate in a settlement solution facilitated by the Library of Michigan that addresses the miscalculation of penal fines by Wayne County, provided that Wayne County agrees to pay for an independent auditor to review all payments to the Wayne County treasurer from the courts and all payments to the Wayne County libraries to determine the accurate penal fine disbursement numbers from 2014 through 2024. And also to provide copies of the completed audit to the Wayne County libraries and to the Library of Michigan.
A second.
It's been moved by Chehevitz, supported by Studemeyer, that we adopt the motion toward the penal fine issue. Are we ready for the vote? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed by saying no. There is a unanimous vote, no negative votes, to participate in the process and receive an audited set of books. Good, thank you.
So we should keep this for future reference.
You should
because we'll
keep
be
it for
talking
future
about it.
reference.
Yes,
Okay.
we, as a library, do not want to cut down these many trees in
You
vain.
want to send me a copy of the month?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, in fact,
Where I can have it?
yeah.
That's a good thing for the public to be aware of.
Mhm.
And I'm sure, I don't know if it's, anyway, we'll see if it's discussed in the communities that are owed.
So even the aspect of being able to pay it back in 4 years, we don't know because we don't know if any of these numbers are correct. This is
Right,
guesstimate.
right, we can't work with them, exactly. Exactly. I actually very much appreciate that discussion, and I think it is something for us all to keep our eye on. We are now at the point on the agenda of committee reports. And there's a few items under here that have reports, not all, most do not. The building committee.
We don't have a committee
Yeah, we had
meeting to report about, but I bet
From
Joe has.
crossover, this is, I'm calling on the 2024. Because we don't have committees set up yet, I'm sorry. Thank you. And I think there is no building committee report.
The only thing I can say is that if you didn't notice them on your way up, on your way down, notice that the stair treads have been put in the back stair treads, so you can see that they blended in, well, pushes all the salt disguising them now. But it does provide better contrast, so you can see where the ends of this backside. So.
I knew they were coming, and I actually did feel that they would really be helpful for people somewhat afflicted.
What are they called?
Stair
Treads,
treads.
the
Stair
treads,
Um,
stair treads.
And they're in contrasting color, contrasting hue, so that they help the visibility, so people can see where the pavement, where there's an unlevel.
Could have done neon orange.
Other than neon orange.
That would have been pretty.
The day we get ready, anyway, it's a thought, it's a thought. Anything else? The bylaws committee, we haven't actually organized, Joy was trying to tactfully say this. We haven't actually organized as a board yet because we haven't had that business taken care of. So we could organize, we organized as the committees already. Excuse me. But we don't have a bylaws committee chair, that's correct?
So I'm guessing there's no report.
I'm guessing John Juriga is such a happy man.
Right.
We do miss him. I'm sure he would have snapped us out of our earlier problems. We do have something to discuss under item C, the finance committee, and I would ask that our treasurer Tanya and Mary Jo discuss the audit issue.
So, no issues. We have a clean audit.
Yeah.
So our accounting policies do, conform to the accounting principles that are accepted, by GAAP. There are a couple pages, though, that I wanted to kind of walk you through a little bit of. So you should have included in your packet the audit for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. And if you go to page 5, I'll give everybody a second to find that.
this one? Okay, what page, I'm sorry?
Page 5, let's start there. So on page 5, you'll see our assets and liabilities. So our assets, the biggest part of our assets, the $12.5 million, of course, is related to this building and the things inside this building. And then our liabilities, you'll see the 9.7 million, and that's related to our bond payments. And I also want to show you on page 6. Near the bottom where it talks about the library's funds, in the past, recent past, we've had 3 different funds. We now have just 2. We used to have a construction fund. We now just have our general fund and our debt fund. Yes. And that's because we've completed the project. Any dollars that were remaining in our construction fund, we then moved to our general fund. So we're all set there. So with our 2 funds, you'll see here that our general fund revenues were in excess of our expenditures by $484,000. We're going to take a look at page 13 shortly, and you'll kind of see a little bit of the detail as relates to that. The actual revenues were higher than budget by $60,000, and the expenditures were less than budget by $310,000. We also decided that we were going to put a portion of our fund balance into a restricted or assigned account. So we have $2 million in that account for future capital improvements. And then we also have committed some of our dollars for our fiscal year 24-25 budget. So that's what I want to show you on page 6. Next, let's go to page 11. So this shows you our fund balance at the end. So we've already kind of looked at the assets and the liabilities, but then at the bottom, you'll see our fund balance. So in our general fund, there's 30,000, almost 31,000 in non-spendable. So those are like our prepaid expenses, things that we pay for this in last fiscal year that are really expenses for this fiscal year. So they are non-spendable. So it's not part of our unassigned fund balance. Then restricted, we have some debt service payments. And then you'll see the 1.2 million that I referred to earlier, that's part of our 25 budget. Then you see the $2 million that's part of our assigned amount for our future capital improvements. And then underneath that, you'll see our undesignated amount, which is the $2,249,817. That's what is our unassigned fund balance.
Can you explain to everybody what the difference between an unassigned and and assigned
Yes. So if the dollars have been assigned, which are the first four items
or
here,
designated.
yeah, it means that we have a specific purpose for those dollars that we're gonna use them for. But when it's undesignated, or I call it unassigned, then those are dollars that are still available for us to, if we want to include more money in our working capital or in our capital improvements fund, Christian Club
Increase
fund.
hours or
We could,
whatever.
yep, those
Yeah.
are the dollars that we could work with, if we want to give our director a raise or, those kind of things, we do have dollars available for that. And on page 13, this shows you what our actuals were for the end of the fiscal year. So that first column is general fund actuals or debt service actuals, and then the total. So if you, and really a lot of what you see here is the same thing over and over again, just kind of shown differently. So here you see for our general fund, you'll see our total revenue is the 2.6 million. Our total expenditures is the 2,152,000. And then you see again the 484,108, which is the excess of our revenues over expenditures. And then you'll see our total fund balance for 23 and for 24. So there was an increase of the $484,000. The only other thing, and let me know if this is too much. But the only other thing, the last thing I wanted to point out is really on page 24. So 24 shows you our original budget that we started off with. And in the next column, you see our amended budget. So what we did over the year was we didn't make any significant changes, but we did make amendments to our budget based on the activity that we had seen for the first half of the fiscal year. So for instance, you'll see that we amended our revenue for contribution and donations from the original budget of $2,500 to $4,000. Right above that, you'll see our fines and fees. We increased that. And then interest income, we actually reduced that. And then the next column shows you our actuals. So we made those changes. We started off with the 2,572,000. We amended 2,575,000. Our actual ended up being the 2,636,000. So we actually have more revenue than we not only originally started with, even with our amendment, we still exceeded our revenue budget. And same thing, I can kind of walk you quickly through the expenditures. The total expenditures is the 2,457,840. We amended the budget to the 2,462,000. Our actuals ended up coming in a lot lower than what we had anticipated, even though we went through the exercise of amending the budget to add additional dollars. We actually ended up only spending the 2,152,630. So we were 310 better than budget. So
What happened to the book budget?
We're working on it.
spend,
I
spend,
know.
spend.
I'm telling you, it is higher than, we did spend more than we did the year before, so.
My son wants more hoopla.
Well, you're here to advocate. for
Yeah, yeah. I just want to interject really quick. You'll notice some negative number for the amount that we took in for fines and fees. That is due to not receiving our penal fines from Wayne County in a timely fashion. And so
So
that's
there-
actually
and-
deferred revenue. We received the check in late October, so it was not in time for our budget. So that's about $39,000.
To the good.
Well, it should have been in last year's budget, but they were late, so.
Yeah.
So that's why there's a negative number there. That's another thing I want addressed with negotiations with Wayne County.
Yeah. timeliness.
Do you think Wayne County has ever been in negotiations with libraries?
Why are you laughing, Rosemary?
Yeah. Hmm. Well, this is all gonna be a very, it'll be interesting. It'll be different, a different kind of challenge than we as a library board have ever had before. But we are a part of the community and we're part of a county and a district. So, and our, the other thing I want to put in there is that our director, I think is as, my impression, our director is as experienced as any, she's got a lot of experience in this area at the top echelon. She was the deputy director for many, many years before assuming the directorship. And she has the institutional knowledge of the field. And many libraries are run by people that just haven't been here that long. And I really am pleased to have Mary Jo carrying this effort for us, because I think she can be very instructive to the whole system that we're looking at. And especially there was a lot of expression in the meeting about being fair to those libraries that lost money because of this problem. It can't just be any kind of decision, you know, we really need to do and make sure that the money that we give up or give whatever, it goes to the libraries that are supposed to get it. And make sure this doesn't happen again. Isn't that what you said? Thank
It's
you, Joy.
interesting how much lower our utilities are than was budgeted.
Oh,
It's
so awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we might have to look
So-
after this
Excellent.
one.
Very environmental building.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Well, tonight we're certainly kicking in all our utilities.
Looking over things.
Yeah.
Right.
And where's that statement of that we're so good? Our audit is so good.
Oh, if you go to the treasurer, the state treasurer's audit page, there's a document that says unmodified opinion. Oh.
No, okay, that's the,
That
yeah,
one,
that's the thing. That's such an accounting term.
And then
I
our,
know.
and then our accountant, you know, said that we.
Yeah.
Unmodified.
Unmodified means good.
That's a real.
It means it's clean.
Right.
Means
I
it's
like-
cheap.
And if you're a public or a nonprofit, you need to show that the way you're using the dollars are the way that they were contributing. So we've had some meaty issues tonight. We still have, do we have other? Oh, on the audit, do we have any actions we need to take or other parts of the presentation that you think we need to have? I would certainly say thank you for presenting it to us in just the way that you did. Very helpful to me. Anybody have questions? Maria, you have any? Okay. Well, let me then keep going along. If there are no further business on the finance committee report, then we move to marketing, which is directed by Alma Hughes Grubbs, our secretary. Alma, do you have anything you want to raise?
Not at this time. I think we were supposed to be getting together at some point too. We will now that it's the new year. We will.
Good. It's good to see you here, Alma. You're looking well, as is all the board members, and it is just good to have the group together. I think, oh man, I think you'll make a good picture this year. Like a color, fashion coordinated. There we go. I do have, we have another big item that we need to take care of, or at least listen to and find out where we stand with, and that's the personnel committee report. For this
That
month,
time
and I
of
call
year.
on Linda.
Well, we always do our library director evaluation. I'm gonna pass out my summary. If you pass that around to everyone.
And you received your survey in December.
And I didn't participate
No.
in the survey.
No,
you were
Right.
I don't have that
I was
privilege
off the
next
hook.
December.
Yeah, Maria, John Juriga did those.
Yep.
We had all 7 board members who were eligible to participate
Exactly.
in this one. Or we had as many as were able to respond. Anyway. Has everybody received a copy?
Would you like to know?
Oh, I got it.
You might find it very
No.
sexy. No. Okay. This is the library director evaluation for the Belleville Area District Library 2024. And I'm presenting it at our meeting, January 14th, 2025. In December of 2024, the Belleville Area District Library Personnel Committee distributed director evaluation forms to all BADL board members in order to evaluate the BADL director, Mary Jo Suchi. The committee wants to thank all of you for taking the time to thoughtfully complete and return these forms in a timely manner. The director was evaluated in the following areas: applied library knowledge, relationship development, leadership and management, and marketing and program development. In this evaluation, we used a scale of 1 to 6, with 6 being outstanding and 1 being unsatisfactory. The evaluations were anonymous and included a comment section for each category. In this comment section, board members were encouraged to use specific examples, positive or negative, in order to provide more meaningful feedback to Mary Jo. The completed forms were collected and the ratings tallied. We then summarized the information in order to share it with Mary Jo. The results of this evaluation show that Director Suchi is performing her job at a very high level in all 4 categories. The comments were overwhelmingly positive and mentioned examples of the director being thorough, detailed, and compassionate as she went about her job. She has exhibited excellent leadership in managing staff and has a warm and welcoming relationship with them and library patrons as well. After discussion with Mary Jo regarding these results, we then focused on the goals that she had set for this past year, which were improving the library's website and updating the library's policy. The website, there was the implementation of the library's new library event room booking software by Calendar Company that has greatly improved the library's website and user experience. An employee who previously worked on the website has returned and has renamed and cleaned up our website. Her efforts had made it unnecessary at this time to hire an outside web design firm. As regards policy, the library's personnel policy was successfully revised and updated this year. The policy reflects changes to the one that was drafted in 2010 and edited in 2013. It reflects updates necessary due to changes in the Michigan Employee Sick Time Act and in electronic communications, social media use, and the Library Privacy Act, and in safety. A parental leave policy and remote work policy were also approved. In addition, the adult literacy program has trained a staff of volunteer tutors, and the program will be reaching out to community members who are in need of this assistance in the coming weeks. The Memory Cafe for patrons with memory loss and their caregivers has seen increased attendance. Game day was implemented to increase engagement with our teen population, as well as a student orientation to review the library's code of conduct and expectations. These efforts were very successful and have resulted in better use of the library's facilities by the teens. The Library of Things has expanded its contents and has become popular with our patrons. Library visits reached over 134,000 last year, an increase of 11%, with a comparable increase in participation in our program. The Personnel Committee met with Mary Jo in early January to discuss the results of the survey. We have considered all this information and will be recommending a salary increase of 3.5% for Director Suchi for the year 2025. In addition, Mary Jo has set the following goals for 2025. Implementation of an updated accounting software system. Assist with working towards a resolution of the Wayne County penal fines miscalculations with the other libraries in Wayne County. Assist the board with updates to the following library policies: accounting, board bylaws, internet use. Reassessment of staffing and workflow of the library's administrative assistant, accounts payable, and technical services duties due to the retirement of 2 longtime staff members. Continue to facilitate the library's programs, collection development, outreach services, after-school team engagement, and community engagement. Explore options for a library strategic plan. Thank you again to all who contributed to this survey and to the board as we embark on a new year. Last year was very busy, but next year proves to be just as busy.
Also, just as productive.
So,
That was a very thorough report, and I thank the committee. And I thank our director for providing the committee with what they needed to be able to do a thorough assessment like this. And I like to be sure we've allow board members to make any kind of comments. There is a recommendation of an amount of money, which I just looked at and now.
3.5%.
Yeah, that I fumble fingered my way to for a raise for our director.
And Madam Chair, we did look at the rate of inflation for last year. It was about 2.7%. So we wanted to make sure that the raise was in excess. We didn't want to keep you even, so we recommended the 3.5% so that she could stay ahead of inflation.
Mhm. Are there questions? And I would ask the questions be directed to either member of the committee who's here tonight.
What raise did the staff get last year? I don't
We did
remember.
3% or 2.5.
I
It was a little more.
can't remember, it might have been 3 last year.
This year?
This year recommendation.
We're looking at 3.5.
Okay.
So that would be consistent.
I'll make a motion that Mary Jo receive a raise of 3.5%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to. That Mary Jo receive a raise and that the raise be 3.5%. Any further discussion?
You want to comment or?
Not yet.
Okay.
She is such a cautious and wise woman. Yes, the substantiation of the process and also the experience that we have all had. Mary Jo is just central to this, and we have a gem among us. I imagine she'd like to let us have the action on the motion before we say too much. So there has been a motion and a second. All those in favor of the raise for Mary Jo Suchy, please signify by saying aye. And those opposed by saying no. There were no dissenting votes. And thank you, Madam Treasurer, for the Treasurer's report and for the service on the Personnel Committee.
Very
Thank-
good.
Thank you.
I want to say that I am always the last one to get mine in, and I barely even got it in this time. But it's not because I'm resistant to saying how great Mary Jo is. She is truly one of the premier directors, I think, in our state in terms of balancing the needs of staff, of patrons, of fiscal responsibility, but growth And I think we're very, very lucky to have her.
And just genuinely great to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, she never makes you feel stupid when you know she could.
And she might be even thinking it sometimes.
But you feel like you really
They teach,
tell her
they
things.
teach us in library school that there's no such thing as a stupid question.
But I sure as push that anymore. No, it's really wonderful. And when you, as an meetings, you see what she has to do. I mean, she's worth every
Thank
penny.
you very much.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pleasure to serve this community. I love this, I'm in love with this community. I love this community. I love our staff and, you know, you guys make it easy for me. So I'm
And you
very
for
thankful.
us.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say easy.
No, you are,
Doable.
you are.
She puts up with us.
Yeah.
Yes, she
Um, there was another thing we discussed a little bit in the personnel committee meeting. It's been a couple of years since we've revised the salary recommendations, the salary ranges document. And I'm still waiting for some statistics from the Detroit Suburban Library Roundtable. But since we don't have those yet, we do have a couple of raises that are kicking in where some of those maximum numbers are gonna be a little bit out of whack. So I was hoping tonight that the board could approve, increasing the maximum, salary for the director position, the librarian position by 5%. And then also putting a maximum on the library intern position. Right now, we just have it at $17. We would like there to be a maximum of $18 on that. That will get us through until we get some actual data and can sit down with the entire document. I don't know if you want me to give you specific numbers here or not.
So it was for the director and
The director position, current maximum for the director position is 99,600. Current maximum for the librarian position is 60,320. And then for the librarian intern, we just want to have a range from, make it from $17 to $18 an hour.
I think based on, you know, our financial information that we just went through, we can afford to do that. So I support doing that.
and what we want to keep good people and attract good people, and this is how we do it.
That's what makes a great library.
That's what
Great.
it does. We found that over the years that has been really important to have good people with you.
Mhm.
So this was probably out of line last year.
Well, we
The
weren't
director.
hitting it yet, so.
Okay.
Same thing. Two
Yeah.
people can say the same thing. in different ways. Okay,
So we need a motion.
we moved the
Yeah.
raise. Do we need
So we
to
make a
do it
motion
just
to
accept
increase-
the report, the entire
Well,
report?
we
How
did
about
that, but
We
now
did
we
that.
have to do this one, so
So it'd be a motion to increase the
I
maximum range.
move we increase the maximum by 5%, salary range by 5% for the director and the librarian. And for the library intern to $17 to $18 an hour.
Okay.
Rachel, were there 3 positions or 2?
There were actually, when I went back and looked, we were okay. I thought department head was bumping up against it, but we're not quite there
Okay,
yet.
so it's just
So
the
we
two.
have time on that one, yeah.
I support.
We're taking care of quite a bit of this business this evening in the public eye. And that's important because we're here for everybody. What did
I
we
just
say?
seconded my motion.
Yeah, I
Oh,
support the
it
motion.
is, it's been moved and seconded.
Mhm.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed by saying no. There are no dissenting votes and the motion carries. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Mary Jo, especially, and Mary Jo, your entire staff. And as Linda already said, putting up with all of us. I'll call on Dan, the policy committee. I think you had a little rest for the holidays, I'm hoping.
I did, so I have no report.
All righty. And the art committee has been active as I urge the public and the board and the whole place to observe the exhibit space in the atrium for new art. And that's the report from the art committee. So
The new artist is Danielle Whitehead.
the new artist on the
On
wall.
display.
Okay.
In the atrium.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's her, it's a solo exhibit,
Solo exhibit, yeah.
it's a solo exhibit in the atrium of all different works. I've gone through them, but not really studied them, but they're interesting. And it's, yeah, by one artist, so that's wonderful. Local person? Hmm.
How long will her work be in the atrium?
About 3 months.
3 months, okay.
So you're gonna urge friends to come and look and, well, we always wanna urge people to come
Just walk
to the
through and look at
library,
that.
and
Right.
we really do, we do well with the people that come in our door for the first time. Okay. So we have accounts payable. We always have accounts payable. So that's the next item of business as I see it. Where did, so, anyway, thank you. Are there any questions? You all have, everybody has these accounts payable in their packet. Are there any questions? Anything, I always find the questions, I don't.
Where's John?
Right, there you go. We're gonna miss John for many, many things, but also John is giving us an opportunity for all of us who want to fill the void. Act as John, figure out things to ask questions about. Actually, I ask a lot of seemingly dumb questions, but then I learn a lot of stuff about how libraries run and why things are the way they are. So no question is a stupid question.
So I do see that we are spending about $11,000 on books, so that's always a good thing. So we're working on it, Joy.
The right direction. That's where we're spending that and human services. That's our top expenditure. So. Okay, it's moved and supported, correct? That we already did that. We did not. All right.
A motion, we approve the accounts payable as presented.
Right.
I'll second that.
Been moved by Studemeyer and supported by Priest that we approve this month's accounts payable. And that leaves us our director's report. The best.
Well, it's time for me to fumble through my paper. Here it is.
Can I ask one thing about, what are the new library brochures that Michelle made?
Oh, I should have brought some into the meeting with me. It's been a long time since we got a library brochure of trifold that we can hand to patrons when they get a library card that we can take for outreach and events. So it outlines all of our services.
Okay.
Do we have?
Michelle not going up to that, yeah.
Okay. Michelle designs most of our,
Yeah.
she does most of our professional work and does
Does
is
a really
well.
good job. I want to invite all of you to come to the Friends of the Library annual meeting. It's going to be this Saturday, Saturday, sorry, I'm a week ahead of myself, Saturday, January 25th at 11 a.m. It is their 40th anniversary.
Wow.
They've been a friend for 40 years. So please, join me in helping them celebrate. It's very, very much of a milestone. We've been working through a lot of staffing changes, so please pardon our dust while we're trying to get through everything. Carol Johnson's last day is this Friday, January 17th. So she has been having people training with her very intensely right now, so they're job shadowing and she's supervising them as they're kind of taking over the reins, so. Our full-time library assistant, Nikki Pickerel, is going to be assuming Carol's administrative assistant duties. Including the meeting room bookings, compiling the director's report statistics, preparing board packs, as well as some additional duties. When we first put Carol into this position, she spent half her time as administrative assistant and half her time out at the front desk at the checkout desk. So we're kind of pulling those hours to be all administrative assistant. Nikki is going to also be helping with some of the personnel things that we do, especially a lot of the onboarding of new staff and training and things like that to make sure that staff from all of the departments are receiving uniform training. So she's going to be doing a lot of jobs. Part-time library assistant Amy O'Brien has been promoted to full-time. She will be replacing Nikki as Lindsay Laura's assistant for circulation. In addition to that, Amy will be taking over doing the accounts payable. We're in the process of continuing to hiring some more circulation clerks, and we have a shelving assistant position open as well. As I noted in here, we have been working through some various leaves of people because of, parental leave, health leaves, etc. A lot of holiday viruses that have been going around, so it's been, my hat is off to the staff for being very flexible and creative and making sure that everything is staffed. Jazz nights are resuming, so January 29th, Wednesday. We're having a jazz night in our library. If you have not been, they're wonderful.
Always fun.
So.
Yeah, I
Looking forward to
don't
that.
know if I've seen, that would be interesting, I don't know if I've seen this. Well, anyway, yeah, good for us. And then, oh yeah, and we've got those storytellers coming in.
Yep.
He's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that, so in February. So I did not give you any articles to read this time, since you had so many spreadsheets to read.
yeah, well.
And audits to read, I figured that was good enough.
And you did give us a lot of pictures too.
Yeah.
A lot of pizzazz to show how talented our staff is who generates all these advertisements, and we are able to really showcase all our programs very well, as we do on our website. Anyway, are there comments or more questions for Mary Jo?
I have a question. I'm sure I've asked this before, but I'm sure I don't remember the answer. The total surf, does that include digital media?
Yes.
Okay.
It's so wonderful for us to have another librarian as a member of our board. And Maria, that's a real blessing on this board. The interchange that Mary Jo and Joy provide us really inform all of us a lot more about what libraries do and what their experiences are, and ties us in as a community. So we are very blessed as a board. So any other questions? Then we are very pleased to accept your report, Mary Jo, and we're now time for trustee comments. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I can go first.
All righty.
I was invited in for a tour. Mary Jo took me on a tour on last Thursday, and I was able to see all of the workings of the library. So when you guys were saying, we're really, really lucky to have Mary Jo knows this building from top to bottom, in and out, left and right. I was really impressed. And you can tell she has the respect of the staff. You can just tell. The energy was really, really great. We really are lucky to have you. So we want to make sure that you're taken care of. so that you don't leave us.
As we'll follow you. You can't go far enough to get away from
No,
us.
but I really thank you for that, for giving me that tour. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for that opening. Beautiful. Good. Tanya?
I want to thank Dr. Maria for joining us. So this is great, to have, some new energy on the
you.
board. So I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And congratulations to you two for returning.
Alma, how long has it been? Three rounds, I think, yeah,
What for you?
2010. Yeah, about-
2010,
It
right?
was in the last one. I
Were
think,
you
from
and
that 2010
John,
group.
were you and John in the same group?
No, John came in 2012. The first group was the appointed group.
Uh-huh,
Cause you gotta start
right.
somewhere.
I remember that. I remember
I'm the last one standing.
that. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, don't say welcome
But you're
home, we
almost
just say
as
welcome
long.
back home.
So that would be
Welcome.
third term. This is the third term. I thought it was 3 already.
So when was the first elected group? You're part of the,
2012.
okay. So the elected group was just for two
That
years?
first group, they had to stagger.
Okay.
So, cause you don't wanna lose your whole
Right.
board every year,
Yeah.
So
so.
some stayed for a long time, John
Yeah.
Jariga. But, right? That's
Yeah,
what
he
you're
came
saying.
in on
And so-
2012.
Yeah, we've had a tremendous continuity. We've had continuity in our leadership staff. I wonder whether you know Debbie Green in this community. Debbie,
Sure.
Debbie was Mary Jo's predecessor and Mary
Oh,
Jo's
no, I don't.
colleague and,
Oh, really?
yeah, and a tremendous member of this community, so we'll
Long
make
as she
sure.
director.
So 1987, what, 2015? Yeah, wow.
1987 to 2015
Mm.
and Mary Jo started here what year?
Also 1987. Yeah.
Yeah,
Debbie
she was telling me that.
expanded the library from, oh my goodness, how big was it? Maybe a
It was
little
like-
bit
it was
bigger
like, I
than
think,
this
30
one.
3,500 or 3,600 square feet was the original live building, yeah.
So were you an intern? I know you told me on Thursday.
I started as a part-time library assistant.
Library
that year,
assistant,
and I
that's
knew I was
okay,
going,
okay.
gonna be going to library school,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then since she got all her library credentials, she was right hand to Debbie and they have been a team, haven't they? They're a team and it's here, we have a warm-hearted group here. And we all fit in. Thank you very much.
Tripled the space almost, I think.
Yeah.
Which was
Yeah.
a big deal back
Yeah,
then.
it was
and,
absolutely, yeah.
Then you tripled the space.
I think Maria, are you the first board member who has come, did you ever go to the old library?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we've been in the community since 2011, since my daughter was a baby.
mhm.
Yeah, so I would take them over there. I'm
Uh-huh.
familiar with the old building. I like this one better.
Well, it's just dawning on me, there will come a day when people
Won't
don't
remember that
they
building.
won't
Yep.
remember that, they will just think we were here, just like this. So,
Community members,
Yeah.
for sure, right?
Yeah, the children's section was, you go around and it's right in
Yeah,
that
right.
center area,
And
next to
then-
the circulation desk.
And you had to
Yeah.
go through to the program room, and if you needed to extend your program, it might take over the children's section.
People would be sitting in the corner where the one outlet was, so they could charge their phone.
Oh, yeah. Making it technologically work.
Marriage that had so many leaks and Mary Jo
Oh.
been on the roof so many times. There was, what, right at the end, I think there were umbrellas over the computer. So.
Oh, I do remember buckets.
For the friends meetings, we had buckets.
I think
I
every
remember
single year, every single summer, there was air conditioning problems.
So there were that wasn't was that a place for the high school kids to hang out? Or they said no thank you?
I said, no, thank you.
There wasn't many high school kids hanging out.
It wasn't considered a cool space.
Yeah.
No. Oh, boy.
No, we did have teams over the years that kind of ebbed and flowed, but at the end though, it was kind
A
of
lot
not
of
so much, yeah.
skateboarders would.
But the
Use the right-
skateboarders.
Well, now, right?
Yeah.
And the very last, payphone in Belleville.
Mhm.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize that.
Did anyone ever take those wooden art? Remember all that wood we had?
Oh, we wanted to
Yeah,
do
we
that,
wanted
but
to get,
I think it
especially
got
John, he
jumped.
really
Yeah.
wanted those art, somebody to
I
take
think it
those
got jumped,
arches.
but that doesn't mean it didn't get moved on to somewhere
Yeah,
that
somebody
used
might
it
have
for
taken it.
art.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But we have
Beautiful work.
nothing, we weren't able to do that. John had a ton of wonderful ideas, and he'd run around pursuing them too, so.
Except we wouldn't let them put it in the barn, so.
Right. Right, he collected up way too many until he got his rules at home.
Yeah.
Well, John is gone, but not far, and I'm sure he'll be back to see us.
Yes.
See them this morning.
Okay. There you go.
Delivering
Um,
papers.
Right side.
And who has not yet? Dan.
Well, I guess first of all, Happy New Year to everybody. And congratulations on the reelection and welcome.
Thank you.
It is very nice to see the balance that our committee has, so I do appreciate everybody's background that they bring here, and it's nice to work with people that have varying backgrounds, and when it comes here, it all comes together, and so that's very nice.
Mhm.
And Mary Jo, you're certainly have earned 3.5%, and if I had my way, I'd like to see more, but that's,
She didn't want that much.
oh, okay, well, yeah, yeah.
Mary Jo is one of the rare leaders that will advocate for her employees harder than she'll even
Well,
advocate.
somebody did say that that's how we get good employees, and I do.
I think so too.
I
think
think
those
the
are
work,
really good.
the work
They're so good, yeah.
environment means an awful lot to people,
Mhm.
A
but
lot of.
nobody's
truth
doing
to
it for free, let's
Right,
face it.
Right,
So,
right.
and,
But it's not just the money.
no,
No.
you're right,
It's-
you're absolutely right.
It's
Yeah.
respect and being listened to and,
A full life.
yeah.
Yeah,
The arts,
absolutely.
exposure.
And being, being appreciated and respected, those are all important things.
Yes,
And working
indeed.
for somebody that knows their stuff.
Yeah.
is-
Yeah, absolutely.
that's
Was that a
important too.
segue to you, Linda?
I don't know, but I will say that my family came to visit, my grandson came to visit over Christmas, and I brought him to the library twice. And the first time he came, and he's been here before, but the second time, he could have gone anywhere, and he wanted to come here, because he really likes to come here. He plays with the train, he plays with people, he was at the little store, I mean, we had such a good time. And then we went to the museum and saw Santa, and if you have not brought a child to see Santa at the museum, it was wonderful. And my kids, I mean, we've gone to Greenfield Village and we've been other places, but that Santa was the best one I've seen in a long time. Plus, the whole experience was so friendly, so small town. And my kids are from Dallas, they're big town, and they really loved it. So I just want to say, I love living in a small town.
I'd like to add to that I have family members that both live in Plymouth and Canton, and they have just recently brought their children to the Belleville Museum and to the library. And both of these families have said, this is where it's at. They're coming back here this
A lot of
next
people
year.
that lined up to see Santa, but they kept it moving.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I came here too, it was great.
It really was nice, and they gave him a full-size stuffed animal for free.
Yep,
They gave him a stocking.
yep.
Plus, the Santa just took his time with him
Yep.
and talked to him. My little grandson just loved it, so I had to mention that.
How old?
5. Yeah, perfect age.
Yes, yes. Little old enough to not be scared to death.
Right.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful, and, yeah, that stuff. But I wanna first, before I say anything, I wanna to recognize Alma, our secretary, for her willingness to serve again. I
Yes.
have such a wonderful,
Again.
this is such a
Right.
wonderful board. And,
like I'm
for
not
her
resting on
keeping
my laurels
keeping
yet.
notes and keeping us going. Alma, do you have something you wanna say, anything you wanna say tonight?
Well, just happy New Year's to everyone, and 'cause I think we haven't met since last year, and I wasn't able to participate in, a lot of events, but glad to see everybody's doing well.
We're glad to see you here with us.
And
Especially
appreciate each
glad.
and every one of you. And congratulations to the newly elected.
Mhm. Yourself. Yeah.
That's yourself.
You deserve it. Oh, we're really happy. This is just, and I believe you're the last board member, right?
Good point.
Did
I am
Joyce?
good,
Yeah,
but
that's,
I think I
that's
said it.
everybody. Yeah.
You did,
few
but
things,
you
but
have
I'm
something
very-
else to say?
No,
Oh,
I've been too talky.
there's no such thing. We're so happy to have your participation again and your election. Your participation in this organization is so very helpful. And all my professional, now I'm gonna start the chair's report. All my professional connections that I've had over a long career, I can't think of any of them that would plug in better than to put my attention on a public library. And particularly this public library that is a small town. I was raised in Grand Rapids, and all my Detroit friends claimed I was from a small town, but Belleville is truly a small town. And it's a joy to be where we are, and we're able to get into the populated areas, but we are right here in the heart of it. I also want to reinforce what Mary Jo said about the Friends meeting. The Friends meeting is coming up on Saturday. That's the annual meeting. And we would not be where we are without the Friends. You see there in every approval of accounts payable that we go through, you see the interaction between the Friends and the library, and we're able to gain support. Many of our board members have come onto this board. Most of us have been and are members of the Friends. So if you're able to come out for the annual meeting, that would truly be lovely. I want to congratulate our staff and our director for one specific area, which I've been really watching closely, which is our interaction with kids, not little kids in the downstairs kids room, but the teenagers. And how it's proceeded. And we've discussed it here, and it's the heart of our community. We're a downtown, we're close to the high school. We wanted to serve young people. I think as we were talking earlier about the old school, we were saying there wasn't anything for teens to do over there. Little kids were there, but not teens like we have here. So we wanted our teens here, and we put together a really thoughtful resource for them. But there are things, we do have two professional librarians who really helped us to understand what a library that is close to a school can provide. And I'm really pleased. It's taken a couple of years to work out some of the hiccups, but we are serving our young people and we are fostering learning, and we're doing it respectfully. And Mary Jo's skill and her ability to put together the right team and the staff that we have here, we're really in good. I really appreciate that, because we've learned to coordinate, you can see all around it, we've learned to coordinate with the athletic teams. Thank you so much, Wendy. The athletic teams who are gonna have games, and so before football games or basketball games.
Are you gonna kick
we
us
gotta
out?
go to-
No, I'm just asking, is it okay if people downstairs go, people can go? That you can handle this crowd on your own?
Oh, we started late. Oh my, are you coming to kick us out? Oh, that's in. Good night, sweetie. Oh my, okay, oh, I'm okay. But the teens, we have staff to work with the teens. And I remember when Tanya and I first came on the board, she had teens in our high school, and she helped inform, we've all, you know, as members of this board have raised their kids, especially those who did raise their kids right here. We've been able to really adjust, and I just appreciate it. I appreciate the staff that's come on to do that work, and I appreciate the results and the cooperation of the community. Our friend and the shop owner, Carmen Stovall back here in Crafted, we work collaboratively in that. I think those librarians must have been right when they said that librarians are a collaborative group of people. So thank you especially for that area that you worked so hard on, and thank you for taking on working with the community of libraries around here. I think you're uniquely qualified.
Madam Chair, I'm motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Where's John?
I was gonna try to kill John. Madam Chair, make a motion, we end this meeting.
We have a motion and all kinds of support. Adjourn.
There we go, excellent.
So Mary Jo's on the floor.